YouTube, what's up? Back with another video. As you can see, I've had a lot of upgrades and changes to the suite this past year. And what I like to do is just go through a couple of the things that I added and kind of do like an end of the year wrap up kind of like tour, but MTV Cribs style.
Boo this man!
I got some new artwork I done hung up, new TV, I painted, I changed my station, got a new mirror. Oh, also, and I frosted the window. So let's get into it.
Let me get it back, run it again. Show you how to turn 2 to a 10. Then we take it and do it again. Once some G can be scared of the plan. Understand that I'm really the understand that I'm really the man. Sticking to it, that's just who I am.
Start off with the center point of the whole suite, obviously the vanity station. Before I had like a big bulky like station that kind of came out to like right here with like a big mirror that was like right there, but I feel like it took up too much space. And I feel like this setup right here is way more chic and like classy, way more like a professional look, if you will. With the big mirror, the client can see their entire body when they're looking at themselves, which I think is really important. Before, the mirror was kind of like half, it was kind of like cut off right here. An issue that I was having, excuse me, the issue that I was having was I have some tall clients, like clients that's like 6'5", 6'4", and sometimes when they would get up, they would have to like kind of bend down and kind of look in the mirror. So I had to get a mirror where it could, it would show a full size man over 6 foot. And, and also when you cut somebody's hair and you're trying to show the finished product, I feel like it helps out a lot if the client can get up and kind of see their whole body, like see how the haircut kind of like complements the outfit and like, their swag for the day.
Nigga gonna stand on business every time.
And this right here is definitely like, as a barber, even if you're a cosmetologist, you already know the benefits of having like a Craftsman style toolbox set up as a station. It's just so many different drawers. You know what I mean? There's so many different drawers, so many different panels. You can hang stuff on the side. This top piece actually comes off, which is, is mobile if you want to move it around. It's on wheels. It's easy to adjust. And it just looks badass, right? But I'm not going to lie. This is not a Craftsman toolbox. I got this on Amazon. A Craftsman toolbox would have been like, I think like $400 or $500 or something like that. But this one right here, like I said, I got on Amazon and it was like, I think like somewhere between like 130 to like 150. But I do remember that it was definitely under $200. So if you're trying to save some money on like a Craftsman style toolbox, you can go with this option. This right here is the couch, where the magic happens. Just kidding. But before I had like a bench or something like that. I don't know. It just wasn't doing the thing. I wanted something to look a little bit better, that was a little bit more professional, a little bit more stylish, and it could seat more people. I feel like the bench was not as sturdy. And it just like, I don't know. It just didn't hit right for me. But I feel like the couch is way better. And it's also a pull-out couch, in between clients. If I get tired, I get here early, I want to take a nap before, after a client, before I start my day, after I start my day, whatever, I could always just pull this joint out. I actually got this on Amazon as well. And I think this was also under $150. I think it was like under $100. I think it was like $80 or something like that. I don't know. But pretty much damn near everything I got in here was from Amazon, including my barber chair, which is the same barber chair I started off with. So that's nothing new. But yeah, that was like $500 on Amazon. As you can see, I painted. Before I used to have like this really tacky like grass wall that was up here. I did not like it at all. Went through a whole new like refresh paint. Did like I guess you would call this like a forest green type. Painted this wall like a kind of like an off cream color. Yeah, and I think it just makes everything pop better. And the reason why I made this like a white cream color, I didn't want to make it like actually white. I wanted it to be a little bit like off white. So I did like a off cream. But when you do the backdrop of the photos, usually I position my chair to kind of like face this direction, so you can kind of see my another centerpiece of the shop, which is the canvas that has my logo and everything, and the shop name, or the suite name, if you want to call it. I just think that better for branding. And when I take the picture on a white or cream background, it just makes the haircut just pop better, right? Now let's move on to the art, which is like my favorite part. This right here is probably like one of the best things, or one of my most favorite things that I own, and it is a canvas piece that I got commissioned from a person that I found on Instagram actually during COVID. And the ironic thing about this piece is it was inspired by the first round of riots that happened after a black man was gunned down by a police officer. And when I got this commissioned, it just so happened to get kind of delivered to me like right around the time we had the second wave of riots for another black guy that got gunned down by a police officer.
You're going to jail, bitch!
One of those in which was actually in Baltimore. And you know, the city name for Baltimore is Charm City at the top. You see the North 95 Baltimore sign from Interstate 95, and you see downtown Baltimore in the backdrop. You see a young African American kid, which is supposed to. You see a young African American kid with a blue bandana, a rock, chains, and a thorn that kind of like follows up to a rose that's coming out of the concrete. And the symbolism for this piece is supposed to be a young black male who is a product of his environment, but he's also he's kind of like the terrorizer of his community in his neighborhood, while also being terrorized by the government and the country in which he lives in. The rock is supposed to represent the struggle or rioting or fighting back against the oppressor. The change is supposed to represent servitude, and the rose out the concrete is supposed to represent how something beautiful and serene can come out of something so, evil and like trauma filled. This next piece right here is obviously the centerpiece, logo, branding, and everything all wrapped into one, obviously, right? This is also another canvas piece, which is also commissioned by the same person that did the other one that I just showed you. This one also is a great piece that I own. I definitely love the other one more, obviously, but this one is still and very, very important to me, obviously, because it brings the whole shop together, or the suite together, soon to be barbershop. So as you can see, it has the name, the Fade Dynasty of Baltimore. She did a really good job of bringing out the 3D and adding rocks and, you know what I mean? Like sealing it with resin and everything like that. FD is the abbreviation for Fade Dynasty. Now the triangle that you see in the back is actually not an actual triangle. It is supposed to represent the 3 fish scales, which is a representation of a clan from feudal Japan that was a small yet mighty clan that practiced a non-violent, serene Buddhist religion, if you will, but they still had to defend themselves. So when it came to defending themselves, they were able to defend themselves up against other clans that were larger than them because they were so mighty and so unified amongst themselves in their own clan. And that's kind of like a representation of what I'm trying to kind of build here. You know what I mean? Like build a brand off of who I am as a person, what I like to do, my interests, just which is why I brought like, the color scheme that I like that kind of like accentuates my personality, different artwork that I'm into, and kind of trying to bring this suite to life. So that way, when I move forward to an actual full-size barbershop, I'm just copying and pasting, you know what I mean? And it's me. So it's really, really authentic. Now we have these 3 right here. Let's start with this one right here. This one has sentimental value. This one is actually from the first barbershop that I ever worked at. And the MVPZ right here, that's on the back of the shirt, was like the shop shirt that we had a uniform. This was the shop shirt that we had to wear to work every day. But MVPZ was supposed to represent it was like a dollar that my old boss had that he got laminated and wrote MVPZ on it. And it was supposed to, a team building exercise where at the end of a day, a work week, a month, or whatever, you want to kind of like, show love to one of your fellow employees, coworkers that, were kind of like doing their thing, whether they did, bust out a decent amount of cuts that day or that week or that month, or you see them grinding, you see them coming in early. Any barber or coworker that you see that's like really doing their thing, this is how you show appreciation for that. And it's kind of like to build camaraderie amongst, fellow barbers inside a barbershop. But we also had a photographer that would come to the barbershop and kind of, take candid photos of us, like, kind of like getting into it, like, you know, like in action, if you will. That barbershop that I used to work at, actually, we won best barbershop in Baltimore 3 times in a row, in 2019. Like I said, 3 times in a row in 2019.
You're a demon.
So yeah, so that had sentimental value. On to this one right here. This one is a photo of graffiti that I actually took in Baltimore, under the 83 underpass. If you know anything about Baltimore or what 83 is. So during COVID, I got really, really bored because the barbershops in Baltimore were shut down for a little bit before they opened up for essential personnel. So I just bought a camera on Amazon. I buy everything on Amazon.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
I bought a camera on Amazon, and I had a friend at the time that was really into graffiti. So since he wanted to do the graffiti thing and look at different graffiti, I decided to just start taking photos. At the time, I was using my iPhone. And as I started really getting into it, and we started finding some really cool graffiti spots, I just bought a camera and I just started taking photos. And this was one of the photos that I took that I really, really liked, and I just blew it up and turned it into a canvas. And this one right here is a Jägermeister. I don't even know what you would call this thing. This is like a Jägermeister lantern, or I guess product light, or whatever the fuck you call it. But it's like one of those things that you would see at like a bar hanging over top like a pool table or something like that. I feel like I actually got this at a antique shop in Havre de Grace, Maryland. If you know anything about Havre de Grace, Maryland, it's a small town off the water with a boardwalk. At the end of the boardwalk is a lighthouse, but they have a lot of cool. Not a lot of cool. I'm not gonna say a lot of cool. I'm not gonna lie. They got like a decent amount, maybe like 3 to 4 really, really cool antique shops. And this is something that I got there, and it does work. Added touch, and it kind of speaks to me too, because my great grandmother is from Germany. Well, was from Germany. R.I.P. Rest in peace. Bless her soul. But yeah, so it speaks to me. And then also a little bit more history about me. I was in the army, and I was actually in 173rd Unit, which is split up between Vicenza, Italy, and Germany. So wherever I go, whether it's family or, you know, for work, at one point, Germany was kind of like in my heart. Now let's move on to these 4 right here. Let's start with this one. This one is another one with sentimental value, much like the first one from the other one I showed you guys, the other 3 stack that I showed you guys. This one is also a photograph in the first barbershop that I used to work at. This is a photo that I took when I was, you know, the first person to come into the shop. Side note, this is some advice for new barbers. If you want a way to like kind of like grind in and like, you know, kind of accelerate your progress as a barber, I'd say be the first person to get to the shop every day and be the last person to leave the shop every day. I know every day is kind of like unrealistic sometimes, but try to do it as much as you can. If you start off with the mentality every day, then more likely than not, you will be the first and the last to leave the barbershop. But this was after COVID. This was like kind of after they opened up during COVID and they started doing essential personnel. And I was able to go back to the barbershop. I came in one day early. Nobody else was there. I just felt like the barbershop just looked really good and deserved the photo. And this is around the time when I was taking photos. So at the time, I blew one up into a bigger canvas and gave one to my boss around his birthday time. And, you know, I printed out and blew up a smaller one for myself. But sentimental value in the black and white, you know, it's just really cool, I felt like. And this one right here is a canvas painting that I got with one of my ex-girlfriends when we had went to a brewery in Harford County, Maryland. The brewery was like this, like kind of like in barn type area, big field. The person that owned the land, they, you know, rented it out to like weddings and ceremonies and all types of cool stuff. But one of the bartenders in the brewery actually painted and stuff too. And they had a bunch of paintings on the wall. And I just asked if they were for sale, which they was, spoke to the bartender that painted it and got it for a good price. I don't really remember what it was, how much I paid for it, I mean. But I'm on the East Coast, surrounded by beaches and waterfronts, and it just spoke to me. I had to have it. This one right here, warning, my sense of humor may hurt your feelings, tongue in cheek. I got it from, what is it, 5 and Below. And then this one right here, obviously, Naruto. I'm a nerd, love anime. Naruto is one of my top 3 favorite anime of all time. Another one is Dragon Ball, which includes all of them. So that's Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, all that. I just wrap it all up into one. And One Punch Man. But yeah, I got that from 5 and Below as well. And I got like a couple shelves up here. I got a shelf up here. Some shelves up there. Like the shelves that I have up there, I'll show you guys. But those are like fake plants and stuff like that I just got from, I think, also 5 and Below. I get everything even from like 5 and Below or like Amazon. It's crazy. But this particular plant right here that you see, I did not get that from Five Below. I actually got that from I forgot what it was called. I think it was called the Natural Arts Museum in Baltimore. But they had like a gift shop, and it's pretty heavy. And this was kind of like made out of like glass and stuff like that. And it was really, really cool. So, I had to have it. I really, really love these two skateboards. This skateboard right here is a DGK skateboard, hairstyle guide of Marquise Henry, but he's an African-American skateboarder if you never heard of him. But obviously, if you know anything about barbershops, you know that when you used to go to the old school barbershops back in the day, you'll walk in and you'll see like the placards on the wall and the posters on the wall of all the different style haircuts you could get. And you'll walk in and be like, yo, let me get a number 2, let me get a number 3. Sometimes they even had the book that used to sit on the coffee table that you could flip through and choose. But either way, like, let me get a 27, let me get a 30. So when I saw this, when I walked into a local skateboard shop in Baltimore called View, it's blasphemy to me of the idea of anyone actually putting grip tape, trucks, and skating this thing. Like, it was crazy. I had to hang this up somewhere. And then this one right here, Tony Montana, Scarface, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So that definitely, these two skateboards definitely spoke to me. And if we're talking about skateboards, hold on one second. This is another skateboard that I have that actually has grip tape on it, trucks and everything like that. I used to skateboard growing up, actually, and during COVID, like I said, again, I was bored, so I decided to grab a camera, and I got another skateboard, started skating a little bit. But now, since we back to work, and COVID is kind of like a thing of the past, here and there, I guess, for the most part, a lot better than it was. But now I just kind of like use it as a booster seat. I just kind of like put it right in the chair, like this, on top of the armrest and shit like that. The kids sit like right here, and I tell the kids they got built-in oh shit handles and they got built-in fidget spinners. I feel like when I bring this out, when kids come in, they kind of loosen up a little bit. I kind of gain more of that trust. It's like, oh, he's kind of cool like me, or oh, he likes skateboarding, I like skateboarding. This is the source of the entertainment in the suite called the Fade Dynasty of Baltimore. This is a 75-inch. I'm joking. It's a 65-inch TV, but I do tell people it's 70. But it's a 65-inch TV. Before I had like a 32-inch TV, I think. It was like this size, but it was like kind of like something just to get me started. Another message for people: it doesn't matter where you start. All that matters is where you finish. Put that on a t-shirt, put that on a placard, hang that shit on a bumper sticker, whatever. It doesn't matter where you start. All that matters is how you finish and where you finish at.
Forward, bitch. Who you talking to?
But back to the TV. This is a 65-inch TV. I did hang it myself. Interesting though, like when I had it for a while, but I really didn't know if I wanted to hang it because I didn't know if it would actually fit in this space or not. I was kind of nervous about bringing it all the way down here and finding out that it didn't fit until it was too late. But I just got some measuring tape, measured it out, realized that it could fit in here. And I hung it up, but I definitely had to hang it up twice. So I put it up, forgot to put the power cord in there because the power cord is like not under here, it's like up under here somewhere. Had to take it off, put the power cord up, put it back in. I mean, hang it back up. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. That's like only the second TV I've ever hung up. I feel like there's really been a shift in the barbershop and how things are done now versus like when I was growing up and how it is now. Everything is a lot more professional. The type of conversations that we used to be able to have in barbershops, you can't really have as much anymore because you have to be respectful of, the moms, women, children, all those type of things. And I wanted more of an environment that kind of catered to the old school way of barbershop as far as like the type of communication you can have, conversations you can have, and just guys just getting together and like shooting the shit. Now, kids do come in sometimes, and when the kids do come in, obviously the conversation changes. But I feel like most barbershops now, like your general neighborhood barbershop, is more geared towards the family environment, right? So I wanted something that was more geared towards and catered to like actually men in a men's environment, kind of like a men's club or something like that. A men's environment where men can kind of come and be free and kind of not feel scared to kind of get certain things off their chest, or maybe they want to talk about something that's in their life that they may feel like they don't want to talk about around other people, or they really got to get their shit off and they don't want to feel uncomfortable about saying things the way that they're saying them or the words that they are using. So this environment kind of catered towards that. I feel like my clients have really been liking it. And I like the privacy as well. I mean, do I get tired or lonely sometimes? Sure, but you got to remember like what I'm doing this for. And this is just the next step in my journey to opening up my full size barbershop.